Drink by drink, mink by mink, and that is the state of the art.
And hello, my lovely people. Hello. Welcome to Only Slightly Opinionated. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Joey.
And today we are still only slightly opinionated about musicals. Musicals. Yeah, there was just so much we wanted to talk about. And I'm so happy that in our first part, we got to speak to our friend Sean Allen Creel.
Oh, Sean Allen Creel.
It was so lovely to talk to him. And I hope people listen and get to hear all about his stories and stuff because he's fun. And he's a big-time Broadway actor, you know? We got lucky booking him.
Nominated.
What? He's up there with Bernadette Peters.
Right?
I'm sure he's offer only now. No, nothing?
No, nothing.
I don't even know what that means.
No.
Like he doesn't have to audition anymore.
He sure is.
He doesn't have to audition anymore, which I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sure he still does. Offer only means that you only do it when they come to you with an offer.
Gotcha.
You're learning the business. I've always been offer only since I started.
Of course.
I came out of my mom's womb offers only.
You're so stupid.
I know. So let's get right into it because we've already talked about how each other was, so we might as well just continue on with our musical discussion. I mean, on the last podcast we talked about how everybody was and all that.
I agree. Yeah, I don't have anything new to report as far as anything happening.
Nothing going on in my life. Except listening to musicals. I'm going to start with that. Sean said something before we started recording that I said, oh, wait, let's talk about that on the podcast. And then I totally forgot to talk about it with him. But he said, I'm not him talking about himself. I'm not the type of guy who just pops on a musical theater album, like a show, like a sound.
Right. I forgot that he said that. I remember him saying that too. And I kind of thought, oh, well, that's interesting.
Because I would say I listen to 90% of the music that I listen to daily is musical theater or musicals, and 10% is other stuff. I mean, and I wonder sometimes when I'm sitting at home and I'm like just engrossed in a song, like I'll think to myself, is this how metalheads feel when they hear Iron Maiden? You know, is it the same feeling because just the music that moves me is our musicals. That's what gets to my soul better than, I mean, if I tried to think of a song that wasn't a musical right now well, that's not true. There are songs that make me cry. Like Harry Chapin, anything by Harry Chapin, I'll cry singing because of, just connection to my family and stuff like that.
Right.
But musicals are really, I mean, that's the music that I can just put on and just be in my happy place and not even think about it.
It's funny, like I don't, I love musical theater, and of course, I mean, doing shows and stuff, and I absolutely love music in general, but I'm not the type to, just put on an album from a show and just, listen to it from front to back, except for a few that I just love to death, that I will listen to when I just get that, like, sort of like, ooh, I'm thinking about it, or I get the song stuck in my head from a show, and I'm just like, ooh, I feel like listening to that today or something. But
so wait, when was the last time that you think you listened to a musical theater album, to a musical?
Oh,
why do you keep having to say musical theater album instead of just musical? The name of the fucking episode is musicals, and I'm like,
it's musicals.
Drawing out, oh God, original cast recordings. What was the last original cast recording you listened to?
Well, the last thing I put on, I think, because I had a song in my head, was Falsetto Land.
Oh.
I just fucking love that show from beginning to end.
God, I know.
and it just makes me happy, and it makes me think of Tracy Morell a lot because she and I always listen to it together. But yeah, just putting that on and just singing my little heart out because I know
Do you
every
have it on
single
vinyl?
part. No, I do not.
Oh, I thought maybe you did. Oh my God, that'd be so cool if you had that on
Yeah,
vinyl.
that would be one I should try to get a hold of. But I do have Into the Woods on vinyl, and I love listening to that
I think
one.
I have Into the Woods on vinyl too. They just re-released 4 or 5 Sondheim digital music. Yeah, digital recordings. They re-released Sonny Time, Sweeney Todd, Into the Woods, the original recording of Assassins, Company. That might be it. But they re-released them in spatial audio.
Oh,
so they play in Dolby Atmos now on my Sonos. I keep wanting to just say Sondheim for everything. Cool. And I put on Into the Woods.
Sondheim Sonos.
Listening to Into the Woods is so cool in Dolby Atmos because you hear the things like coming from above you. You hear like the speakers are isolated differently. So it sounds like the people are actually in the room more so than just normal surround sound.
That's awesome.
Like there'll be times when I'm listening to Dolby Atmos and I will hear something and I'll be like, what the fuck was that? And I'll forget it was just an isolated sound from one of the speakers, but it'll sound like something in the house. Not music necessarily. Sorry, I'm getting off track, but not music necessarily, but you hear things in such a different way that sometimes I get confused. But yeah, I think I have Into the Woods on vinyl as well. What was I saying? Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Well, we started up talking about how
falsettos. You were talking about falsettos. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I interrupted you to ask if you had it on
that's
vinyl,
all right.
And then went off on a fucking tangent for 5 hours.
Yeah, it's quite all right.
Yes, falsettos. Falsettos is I mean, I don't know. I think we've talked about this to some degree that we both have acted and in musicals and, have, theater lives. Me more than you still really, but you have been trying to get back into it, which is, I think is amazing because you're so fucking talented.
Aw.
But falsettos is one, when we talked about dream roles last time, and I said I've been very lucky, I have, but I used to want to play Whizzer when I was younger, and then I grew into wanting to play Marvin, and Marvin became my dream role, and I've come so close. In fact, I was even cast in the show, but then I had to drop out because I was not happy with some things, which I don't think I'm
right.
So I just, and I'm, now I'm like too old. I'm too old to play it now.
That's one thing that sucks is like, because I fucking love that show. And like you, I would probably play either role, would have been a dream role. But yeah, you get to that point where you're just like, oh, I'm just too goddamn old to play these people.
I'm too old.
And that just hurts. It hurts.
I'm waiting for someone to do Fiddler so I can play Tevye. Because he's like one of the only older roles that I can think of that I would actually want to do.
Yeah.
There's not, let's like once you get into a certain age, you're just playing supporting, comic characters, which are fine. That's fine. But
oh yeah,
it's not the same as playing, George and Sunday Night with George or Marvin and falsettos. Dream roles.
It's like Little Shop of Horrors. I always wanted to play
Seymour.
Seymour, thank you.
You're welcome.
I always wanted to play Seymour, and again now it's like, and they're doing Little Shop of Horrors here at the community theater nearby. And it was so funny because Marty was like, "You should go do that show," and I'm like, "Bitch, there ain't no role I could play up in that movie or that show."
Joey, listen to me and listen to me when I tell you, and I mean this 100%. If you dyed your hair, you could play Seymour. I mean, unless the stage was like literally you were standing like Punchinello's, maybe then people be like, "Oh, I see some wrinkles." But otherwise, you're a very petite.
Wait, hold up. Why you gotta blow me up about my wrinkles on our podcast?
Because you can't be skinny and pretty. You have to have a choice. Okay.
Why you gotta pick up a brother's flaws?
You're being skinny. You don't get to not have wrinkles too. If I'm fat, I get my wrinkles go away. So But
That's hate. That's hate right there.
You're very young looking. You always have been young looking, except for your hair gives it away. Right now, that I would say that gives it away. I'd say with dark hair, which I don't think you should dye your hair for regularly in life, because I think that would be stupid and vain, and I would hate you for it. No, I wouldn't hate you. I'm just kidding. I don't know why I was just joking. But if you dyed it, you would lose a good 10 to 15 years. And Seymour could be a little older. He doesn't have to be, 25. I don't know, Joey. I would try. What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst?
Utter humiliation.
I am someone who believes in know thyself. But I'm saying this as a director. If you came in and you didn't have the gray hair, and this is, seeing you in person recently too. So I know what you look like in person. It's not like just the camera. I would not think twice. Now if I had an 18-year-old Audrey, maybe then you wouldn't get the part. But if I had a 30-year-old Audrey, which, the people who are playing her off Broadway right now are in their 30s and 40s, then I wouldn't think twice about casting you.
I don't know, Jamie. I don't know.
No, I think you should go. I think Marty is absolutely right. I think you have this chance. Plus, it's a small community theater where most community theaters don't have any guys.
That's true.
That's the whole
this is
point.
A big community theater. They have a lot of people, and they do very well here. But yeah, even still, I don't know. Plus I've never done a show with them, so it's not like they're going to be like, yeah, brand new guy. We've never seen you do anything before.
I don't know.
Lead role.
Depending on what the music is that you have to sing, once you sing, that will shut them up.
You flatter me. I'm
not
baby.
Trying to. Believe me, it hurts me to flatter you. It makes me physically ill.
Ugh.
No, it doesn't. It's the truth. I'm being truthful. So I don't know. I think you should do it.
When you I know we've probably had this conversation, but I don't remember. And yes, I'm totally changing the subject. But what it was too much me. What was your first show that you ever did?
First show that I ever did, or first show that I ever saw?
First show you ever did.
The first show I ever did was The Music Man in high school. And I was just one of the little non-dancing chorus boys.
See, I didn't even know you did any shows at school. I didn't think you got involved until after.
That's the only one. What about you? You asked me and weren't prepared with an answer?
No, technically, I never really did a show until I got into high school, and then I did Man of La Mancha was my first show.
Okay. Were you El Danza?
Sancho.
Oh,
I was Sancho.
Okay. Yeah,
of course. My little sawed-off hind end had to play the little short guy.
I know. I wasn't going to say it. I was trying to make a joke and not talk about how short you are, which you are incredibly short. How about this? What is your first theater memory? Like, what is the first thing that did you have that moment seeing anything where you were like, I want to do that? Did you have any of that?
Yeah, it would have been because of my brother. He because my brother was 4 years older, I remember, we always sang together at home. Like, my brother and I just enjoyed singing, and so we were always doing that. And he did, I remember, I don't know if this was the first show he did or not, but he did Bye Bye Birdie. Oh. And I don't even remember who he played in the show, but I just remember seeing it and being like, oh, this is cool. Because I knew the people in it because they were my brother's friends and stuff. And I just remember being like, oh, that's really cool, But I was sort of, I don't know, kind of shy. So I didn't even do any shows when I first got to high school. In my first year in high school, I was sort of like afraid to do anything.
Really?
It just made me nervous. It's the same as I am now. You know how I am. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I'm my own worst enemy. Yep. But I remember finally it was my second year in high school when I finally had the guts to say, like, I'm just going to audition for something. And And then once I did Man of La Mancha, I was like totally hooked. I was just like, oh, okay, this is so much fun.
So you were a sophomore.
Yes.
Never had done any theater.
Correct.
And you got the second male lead.
Correct.
So that right there tells me that your singing will outweigh a lot of the bullshit that you're thinking about for those auditions. We can move on. I'm just saying. You have the voice of an angel, Joey Johnson. I envy your voice. I envy your harmonic abilities because I don't have that. So anyway, mine, I absolutely had that moment. And it was, my dad was a custodian, worked for high schools. So he would have to work the shows to like lock up and open up and things like that.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
high school.
Okay.
So he would take me now, but I'm changing my story a little bit right now. This is not the first time I ever saw a show. I think my mom actually bought tickets. I think the first one, which for sure was Godspell. That was the first show I ever saw, done by the high school.
Okay.
But I think we bought tickets. I don't think it was one, because then my dad, what I was going to say is my dad used to just take me with him to watch the shows on the nights he worked, which I just loved. So I could see all the high school shows throughout my dad's tenure there, which I just thought they were amazing. Of course, I'm sure they weren't, but
right.
I thought they were just the shit. But it was Godspell was the first show, and now I can't stand that show. But it was the first show that I ever saw that I just was like, I was mesmerized. And I was lucky because my mom and dad liked theater. So they would go, not super often, but once in a while. Like I remember them going to see Jesus Christ Superstar. I remember them going to see Annie and being so fucking mad and jealous that I wasn't getting to go because I wanted to see it so bad. I mean, let's be honest. I wanted to be in it so bad. I wanted to be the Lord Annie.
You wanted to be Annie, did you?
Every girl did. Every girl wanted to be Annie. Yeah. So, but I remember having that moment of just like, holy crap. And then I could not get enough. And I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast or not, but I'm going to just tell a very quick version of it. I love the first professional show I ever saw. So when I was younger, they used to run commercials for shows playing at our local, like Fisher Theater, the big touring houses.
Oh yeah.
They would always have commercials, which they don't do anymore. I mean, I guess I don't watch commercial TV, so maybe they do, but they had like really slick, professional, like long commercials, not just like quick clips of the show.
Right.
And so I was just always like, oh, I want to see that. Oh my God, I want to see that. Oh my God, I want to see that. And then they're playing our song, Neil Simon, Marvin Hamlish, Carol Bayer Sager. Victor Garber was in it. He was the star when he was very young. Anyway, was coming, and I wanted to see it so badly because I loved the commercial that I saved up my paper route money and I took my grandfather to see it, who had no interest in seeing it. But as people know, we talked about this on the favorite movies episode for favorite queer episodes. I also convinced my grandfather to take me to Rocky Horror Show. So,
right.
But I paid for both of us to go see they're playing our song at the Fisher Theater with Victor Garber, and it was life-changing. And I went, so often I would buy a ticket. My parents would drive me and drop me off in Detroit, like at the theater, and then come pick me up when it was over. I did that all the time when I was like probably, 14 or 15, maybe.
That's awesome.
So I got to see, I went and saw a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I mean, I missed a lot of stuff too, but they've always just been my happy place. They've always been my safe place, the place where I, having such shame and whatever else you get from growing up gay when we were growing up. Now it's not so bad, I don't think, for a lot of people.
Right.
But when we were growing up, that shame of it, musicals made me feel, even before, before I knew that that men in musicals were very often gay, before I knew that musicals were a big gay thing, I knew that it would be a place that I would be happy. Like, I just knew doing that I would fit in. I would And I don't know. I just knew that I would. I didn't even know if
It's
I
kind of
could
like,
until I
yeah,
got to high
it's like
school.
finding your people, you know, where
Mm-hmm.
you kind of just are like,
Which is
yeah, these
I
are
found through theater. You know what I mean?
right.
Through musicals. So
Yep.
musicals just
Same.
have the most important place in my heart of anything that I do. Or it's like I don't do a ton of theater now. I got pretty burnt out doing it, you know, because I was doing a lot of it for a period of time, you know, 7 or 8 years ago.
You've done a lot of shows. I
Yeah.
mean, you've a lot.
Yeah, I have a good local actor resume. I've
Mm-hmm.
done, you know, all levels of theater. So, yeah, I'm okay with you know the things I've done. Um I was going somewhere with this and now I have fucking forgot it. Oh my
We getting old,
god.
baby. We getting old.
Oh, I took a break. Yeah, I'm not a break, but I don't do as much theater as I used to do. That's what I was saying. But it's still something that I still dream about doing it. I still hear a song and go, "Oh my god, I wish I could play that role." You know, it's still in me. I just there
Right.
aren't as many opportunities as there used to be for me. I'm a bigger guy, which doesn't make a lot of difference in Michigan. You know, if I was trying to do this professionally, it would definitely make a bigger difference. But in Michigan, I think big people get a good chance of performing it at all levels.
Right.
But, you know, I'm older. There's not as many roles. My confidence has gone down a lot for various reasons. So I don't have as much confidence as I used to have. I used to, you know, have that confidence you needed to be an actor because you have to have confidence. You have to not be
Oh God,
afraid.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which is the problem. This is the thing I never had. I really never
yeah,
had that confidence.
yeah. And I did have it for a while. And yeah, and then I have lost it. So there's that. There's the fear of learning lines that scares me. I can learn a song. You give me a song to learn,
Jamie,
and I'll
it
learn it in a day and a
fucking
half.
terrifies me,
Yeah.
the thought of learning lines. I just am like, you know, like songs, I can memorize a song, no
Yep.
problem. I mean, it just the way it flows, I guess. But dialogue just terrifies me.
And then
Terrifies me.
people say, well, you just have to set your dialogue to music. And I'm like, fuck you. If I could write music, I would just be writing music. I wouldn't be,
Right.
you know, in Michigan doing community theater. I would be writing music somewhere if I had the talent to just write a song whenever I wanted to. But yeah, that's, you know, but I'm going to audition for something later this year. Maybe. And if that doesn't work, there's actually like 3 shows at the same time that I would be interested in doing. They're all the end of the season shows. And so if one doesn't work out, I may audition for a different one, depending on when the auditions are. But yeah, it's just, I would do more theater, I think, if I truly was offer only. You know, if people were just coming to me and saying, hey, we have this show we'd like you to be in, or, you know, or even just, we'd like you to read for this show or something, you know, so that I don't have to get up the courage to go do it.
Well, I mean, that's exactly how I ended up doing all the later shows that I did, is because you cast me in them, whether I wanted to fucking be in them or not.
Well, I mean, you still had to audition. I didn't totally pre-cast, and had there been somebody better, I would have cast the better person. But in all the instances of when I cast you, there was nobody better for the role than you. So, well, I mean, in the musical reviews, I just asked you to do them. I didn't, or a musical review that you did. I just asked you to do it because that was something I was putting together. But
see, I love a damn musical review because there ain't no dialogue, so I can just be like, "Yep, sing the song." I can do that.
You should put one together. I should put one together. I'll put one together and then I'll send it to you, and you just say you came up with it.
It'll be a Jamie Richards original.
A Jamie Richards original of singing other people's songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I put together a pretty good musical review, I must say. I don't know. I've done 3 of them, and I think they've all been pretty good. but that's just me.
I've enjoyed them. So
Yeah.
what,
That's just me.
if you had to pick one of your performances, what would you say was your absolute favorite of all the shows you've done?
I think there's a little bit of a difference between favorite for me and most proud.
Okay.
Because,
yeah, I see where you're going.
I'm going to give some different examples. I'm most proud of the work I did in La Cage aux Folles because it was so fucking hard.
Yeah.
It was so
you worked
hard.
really hard for that show. I remember.
That, but I didn't necessarily, people always, oh my God, you must have had so much fun. And I really didn't have that much fun because I was so worried all the time.
Right.
I did a show called The Homosexuals, written by a Chicago author named Philip Dawkins. And that show's been done around the country. And that's my favorite straight show that I've ever done. Definitely favorite. Like, I had a great experience doing it and I loved playing the part. And I think I was good in it. Like, I had a really good director who really, listen, I'm someone who needs a director.
Right.
When left my own devices, I never get past the barrier of like just giving in. I'm always too self-conscious.
Right.
Because you can't see yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I look like, and unfortunately you do in community theater and every level of theater. Some directors are more like looking at the overall picture and not really concerned about the individual actor.
Right.
And so that, like, don't know how to direct people. They know how to direct the technical aspects. And sometimes that is just great. And if you get the right people who don't need a director, you end up with really still great theater. The director gets all the credit, but really, the actors, if they directed themselves, I'm just not great at directing myself in anything where I have to speak. If I was just singing, I probably could do it. If it was just me singing, I think I could do that. But anything where I have to speak, I need a director. So that was my favorite straight show. My favorite musical, my favorite show as a director, there's another one, was Rocky Horror. Because of how close it came to my vision, the vision that I had, almost a year before when I had put in, I had a very clear vision of the show. And it was the only show I've ever directed that came that close to that vision. And the experience was just so magical. Like, the group of people were fantastic. And we had such a good time doing it that people seem to say that. I mean, I was the director, so people may have hated me. I don't know.
I didn't get to answer the question yet, but that was going to be my favorite performance that I've ever
done.
Sure. I was proud of my performance. I really was.
Yeah.
But I was also just had a fucking blast doing that show. It was so much. It was like putting on a show with all of your best friends, it was me, you, and Tracy, and I fucking love Kevin. And we just,
Kendall.
Everybody was, oh my God.
You and Kendall together. You and Kendall together.
I just love her.
Magique.
She was so good. And
yes.
Everybody was. Every single person in that show was fantastic. And we all just had, it was like I said, like putting on a show with all your best friends. It was so much fun.
A lot of fucking fun in that show, during that show.
And it was my final show that I've ever done. So
well, you've done the musical review now, so
that's true. I did.
You've popped your cherry.
I did.
You've popped your cherry. I still don't know, though. I'm still answering.
That's okay.
What my favorite musical performance was. Probably Ragtime. That would be my guess.
Ragtime.
Because getting to do that show was such a dream for me.
I know you love that show.
That or Les Miserables or Chicago. One of those three shows was probably my favorite, getting to do the whole thing, like Rocky Horror, like where the show itself was good, fun, and the people in it were fun. And, because sometimes you have a great show and a terrible experience doing it. Sometimes you have a terrible show and a great experience doing it, So it's like, it's magic when you find both.
Agreed.
So is Rocky Horror, what other, give me another favorite of yours.
Another show that I've done?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, when I look back to, I really haven't done that many shows as far as actual musicals. I've done a lot of like music review type
cabarets.
Things where I've done cabarets and composers and singers, different things that I've done that way. So I haven't really done a whole ton of stuff, but obviously the show where you and I met was also standout from doing Phantom of the Opera,
which we are listed
on Phantom of the Opera
in the script that people license now from an actual license company. We are listed as the original cast.
Hello.
Except my name is misspelled. It's misspelled Jammie. Jammy.
I forgot you were Jammy. That's right.
And I tried to get them to change it. I sent them an email saying, I am Jamie Richards. Can you please change it to Jamie? And they never even responded.
They were like, bitch, you ain't nobody.
I'm Jamie. Yes, that was another great experience. Fun. I met a lot of people during that show because that show was huge. There were so many fucking people in that show. Everybody and their brother was in that show. But that's where I met Tracy. That's where I met you. That's where I met Margaret. I already knew Meg. Sean wasn't involved then. He was already on his way to being a famous actor. So he was no more. Oh, wait. No. I didn't know Sean yet.
I was going to say, wait a minute. You hadn't met Sean yet.
No, I didn't know Sean yet. Sorry. But I met you and Margaret, but I didn't know Sean because I met Sean through you. I mean, I saw Sean before I met him through you. I saw him in a show.
Right.
And that's right. Because, everybody knows I had a little crush on Sean back in the day.
He was crush worthy. He was.
Come on, and he's growing.
I don't want to say was like as if he's like.
No, I was just going to say.
Now,
wait,
but
I was going to say, and he has grown into crush worthy daddy status.
He is like
he's looking like a young Robert Redford, and it fucking pisses me off so much.
Fucker.
He's never going to listen to this.
I know, right? We're like, hey, come on our show, and then our next episode, we're going to like talk shit about you.
Well, now we'll know if he's listening.
We ever had on our show, Sean Allen Krill.
Now we'll know if he's actually listening.
Exactly.
It's a test. We should do that for every person we know from now on. Just start saying something about them really shitty and seeing who listens to it.
Ooh, good idea. I like
Sean,
that.
You're our first lamb to the slaughter.
But yeah, so that show that was probably another one that I would definitely have to say I loved everything about that, doing that show.
Yeah, me too.
What about songs? What about specific songs from shows?
Ooh. Oh my God.
Like what are your absolute favorites? Like what's a song that you're just like, oh, that shit be getting all up in my heart?
Well, right now this would probably take me 5 hours to actually think of anything except for the fact that let's see, how did it happen? I turned on Sirius and Move On from Sunny in the Park with George was on, and I missed most of it. And so then I have been listening to that. So that's definitely one.
I love
for
that
sure.
song. God,
that might be my favorite. Song. I don't know. Just everything that and the combination of the last two tracks of that show, that and then the Sunday reprise together with them talking over. Oh my God. That might be my favorite song. That might be one of them. Oh my God. I have so many. Anything from Ragtime, like not just songs that I sung in Ragtime, but I can listen to that album beginning to end and just, cry and just anything. It's so good. Anything Sondheim, No
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
loved
the man
singing
just
No More.
he can write a fucking song like,
Yeah.
or could, I guess, but
Yeah. Do you know he's
I
got a new
right
musical coming
now,
out? Did you know
I
that?
just
Okay.
saw that and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so," I mean, I was hoping that there would be something that,
Yeah.
he had been working on or something, but oh yeah, I was super excited about
I
to
just
see that.
hope it's good. I hope it's
What
good.
is it? Do you remember what's it called? I don't even remember. Do you
Keep
remember?
talking and I'll find the name of it.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of it.
But I will say that right now, as far as songs from musicals that I'm obsessed with, is I cannot stop listening to "She Used to Be Mine" from Waitress. I just think
Oh
that
my god.
that
Are you listening
song.
to which version? Are you listening to the original cast recording or Sarah Bareilles
Well,
singing it?
I've been listening to all of them. Like I just
Okay.
have been, like anybody who's even covered it on fucking YouTube, I'm listening to
Yeah.
them perform it. Because it's just a song that it's just so incredible. Like, and that's what I love about musical theater is that you can pack so much detail into a
Yeah.
song that truly like describes a character or lets people
Yeah.
know. And that song to me is so incredibly sad, but
Yes.
also so fucking empowering. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, how do you do that? How do you write a song like that that just encapsulates something so well that yeah. So that song to me, and there's parts of that song that I can't, like we talked about in the last episode, where I can't even sing along because it's just like
Yeah.
it makes me tear up, and
Yep.
I can't do it because
Did you
God,
see
I fucking
Waitress?
love it. I've never seen the show.
Okay, I
Never
wasn't sure
even
if you
seen the
saw it
show.
when you were in New York. It's being released. They're gonna release it in December on at the movies. But then I'm
Oh,
sure a streamer will pick it up after that. I'm sure
I hope
someone will pick it up.
so. I hope
It's
so.
the Sarah Bareilles when they reopened it on Broadway after COVID. So it's Sarah Bareilles, and that's got a lot of the rest of the
Hmm.
original cast in it. Drew Gayling and Dakin Matthews and Christopher Fitzgerald, who was nominated for a Tony for the show. That show is so good, Joey. It's so good. Sarah
I
Bareilles is a
totally want to see it.
fucking genius.
She really is.
It's so good.
And who's the girl that's starring in it right now? What is her name? Do you know?
No, it's closed.
I mean, the last one who started before it closed. I'm sorry.
Oh, the last one before it closed? Hold on, let me
Yeah.
find out.
I can't think of her name. I don't
Catherine
remember, but there's
McPhee?
a no, not her.
Okay, because she did it.
I don't know. There's a YouTube video though of one of the girls who actually, and maybe she was in an earlier iteration or something. I have no idea. But she was. There's a video of her just sitting at a microphone singing the song, and it's fucking incredible.
Does it look like it's in like a studio though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually if you search She Used to Be Mine, every time they brought a new woman in to play Jenna, which is the character's name, that Broadway World or Broadway Behind or whatever the name of that channel is, would do a video of the new woman singing She Used to Be Mine. So there's a ton of them of actual women who've
Oh
played the
shit. All right.
role that sing it. And so you get to see they do that too with another song from a show called Come From Away.
Oh yeah. I want to see that show too. I'm very
Have you
like.
not watched it yet?
Oh no, that's right. You told me to watch that one. I watched it on
Yeah.
Broadway World. I forgot. I totally forgot.
No, it's on
Totally
Apple.
forgot. Or yeah, was it Apple that you told me to
It's
watch
on
it on?
Apple. Yeah.
Okay.
I told you to watch Billy Elliot on Broadway HD, which you have not done yet.
That's the one you told me to watch.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But no, you a while back you told us to watch Come
Did
From
you
Away,
watch it?
and we did.
Okay.
Yes. And
Yeah.
we were like in love with it. I was just like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, and to take that particular topic and make it
Yeah.
into a musical that is so goddamn good.
Yeah. That's another
I
dream
mean,
show of mine. I really hope I'm lucky because there's a great age range of characters in that show. So I can still keep growing because it's going to be a while before they release it, I'm sure,
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
for production. But I hope they don't wait too
Allison
long.
Luff. Do you know who she is?
I know the name from that, but I've never seen her. I think she was the standby for her for that role. Oh no, that was Stephanie Torrens. Allison Luff. Let me look it up really quick. Let me look her up because I wonder if she's the. I can't think. No, the name of the girl I saw on tour was Desi Oakley. So no, I don't know who that is.
I don't. It's she. I mean, she obviously she played the role at some point, but they have it's her singing the song. But if anybody listening that wants to just hear that song done so incredibly well, it's the way she just sits there and sort of like stares off into space singing the song. It's just like you realize she is so fucking in it that it just is. It's mesmerizing. It's definitely worth watching. And yes, it was on Broadway.com, which was
she's had quite the career. I don't know of her. I've not seen her in anything, but yeah, she's been in a lot.
Watch that video. Watch it right now. No, I'm
not gonna watch it right now, motherfucker. I'm not gonna watch it right now.
I need you to watch it right now. Right? You can't make me watch it right now.
You can't make me do it. Oh, the name of Stephen Sondheim's last show is Here We Are.
Oh.
Joe Mantello is directing it. It's got a banging fucking cast. Francois Batiste, Tracy Bennett. You're not going to know who any of these people are. Well, you know who this is. Bobby Cannavale. You know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
Michaela Diamond, who was just in Parade with Sean.
Yeah.
Amber Gray, Jin Ha, Rachel Bay Jones. You know who Dennis O'Hare is, don't you?
Yeah, the actor.
American Horror Story.
Yeah. Actor, obviously.
Yeah, he's an actor. Stephen Pasquale, David Hyde Pierce. You know who David Hyde Pierce is, right?
Absolutely.
And Jeremy Shamos, who is in the current season of Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, cool.
He plays. You haven't watched it yet, right?
No, huh?
You watched last season, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you know Paul Rudd is on this season.
Oh,
he was in the last episode.
I remember he made the appearance. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy Shamos plays Paul Rudd's brother. In the show.
Cool. I'm super looking forward to watching that.
It's so good. It's so good this year. I love it so much. Meryl Streep is fucking the bomb. She's not fucking a bomb. That would be weird.
Meryl Streep is fucking the bomb. I mean, you heard it here first on the Only Slightly Opinionated podcast.
Yeah.
Other songs that I fucking die over, though.
Yeah.
Origin of Love from Hedwig.
Oh, God. I've been listening to Hedwig a shit ton lately, too.
I just love that
another
song
role,
so much.
Another dream role that I'll never get to play.
Right. Oh, God. What a great role that would be. One of my other favorites is Joanna from Sweeney Todd.
Which Joanna?
What do you mean?
Just the Anthony singing it?
Yeah.
Because there's a reprise in Act 2, which I like more.
Okay.
With Anthony and Sweeney Todd and the Beggar Woman and Joanna it's a quartet.
Right.
I love that version, and that has been on replay a lot lately. But you're talking about just the first act Anthony version.
Well, I mean both. I love both.
Yeah.
It's
such a beautiful melody.
The melody of that song is just so like, it's so beautiful.
Did you get to sing that in one of the reviews?
No.
Okay. I think it was definitely on my list at one point.
Lord knows I can't remember shit.
Oh, me either. Good God.
Oh, my God. So what about just favorite shows you've ever seen? Like, productions that you've been like, whoa, like that was.
Well, Ragtime is the number one. Ragtime is the number one show like that. Dreamgirls. When I first fucking saw Dreamgirls, and it was still Michael Bennett's direction that they were touring with. Incredible. Like just the stagecraft of that show is incredible. Incredible. Mm-hmm. Billy Elliot really moved me a lot when I saw it for the first time. I was not expecting it at all to hit me. We just went to TKTS and it was one of the things available. So we were like, oh, okay, whatever, we'll go see it. And it was so fucking good. It's so fucking good. What about you?
Well, I would still say that probably the best thing I ever saw was Miss Saigon. Because I got to go to New York when it was still in previews and see it.
Yeah.
Which, they still had all the picketers were all out there and, shouting things at people, which I totally understand,
Yeah.
They had every right
it was pretty
upset.
gross. was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Jonathan Pryce playing an Asian was pretty fucking gross.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the show
at
itself,
the time, he was amazing.
oh
Sorry,
God,
but
yes.
his acting was incredible, but it was gross when you look at it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, looking at it from a different lens now, it's definitely problematic, and I'm glad that we've moved past that type of thing now. But it was so fucking, and Lea Salonga, oh my God, and then of course I got to meet both of them after the show and got their autographs, and I mean, it was just that whole experience for me was just kind of mind-blowing, and the helicopter on the stage, I mean, it was like
the coolest.
I had never seen a production like quite like that before, and it was, and plus that fucking last night I watched you sleeping.
Yeah, I still believe.
Oh my God, that fucking song.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful. And
did you watch it on Broadway HD, the revival?
I did, and it was good.
So good. So different. The way they did it was very different.
Totally.
But it was so good. All right, listen. I think we have to stop talking about musicals because we have something else to talk about. Yes, we do. We have another opinionary. Our second opinionary. I'm so excited.
And we're gonna read it too. Why are you doing it every time I try to sing?
I wasn't trying to overdo you singing, but you should just always do it twice. All right, here we go. Okay. This is from Brian, and this is the email. Good morning, Jamie and Joey. And first, I'm going to say he spelled my name right, which I mean, I'm not. What was the woman who emailed us before?
Oh, Julia.
I think she spelled my name right too. But so many people misspell my name that I always like to give people props
because you're Jammy.
Yeah, that's right. It's 2 M's, 1 I, 1 E. Okay, here we go. Good morning, Jamie and Joey. Anne-Marie and I took the opportunity to listen to some of your podcasts during our long drive back to Ontario from our lake house in Manitoba.
I know who this is.
They were fun to listen to. Keep up the good work, guys. And then he gives us his thoughts on some of our topics, which I think is fucking amazing. So first he starts off with pet peeves, my pet peeves. I agree with Joey on the slow-ass drivers in the left lane. You sure notice these assholes on long drives like we just had. Get the fuck over, fuckface. He's my kind of guy. He's my kind of guy. Wait.
I do have to say, too, we haven't had an opportunity. I have put a little more thought into this whole driving or staying to the right thing that I told you about.
Yeah.
Because although I still fully 100% believe that you are to stay to the right, I had forgotten that being in somewhere like Detroit versus being somewhere like here, there is definitely a difference. Like if I picture myself driving on 75, through Detroit, there's literally like exits like every 100 feet.
Yeah.
So one would not just drive in the right lane.
Okay.
In a situation like that. Okay. One would stay one lane over because the right lane is obviously for exiting and entering. But when you live out here where there's like one exit every 20 miles,
okay.
You stay your motherfucking ass over to the right.
I mean, I still don't understand how many lanes are the highways there?
Moving on. Let's go back
because you ain't got an answer for that.
Lovely.
You ain't got an answer for that. Why they would be more than 2 lanes.
Shut up and read, bitch.
Okay, these are more of his pet peeves. Loud people in restaurants. I almost punched some dude in the head a couple weeks ago. He yelled at a table of young women because they were too loud, in his opinion. But then he ended up being way louder than they were. I didn't hear a thing from the women, but sure heard him. I guess I'm getting crabby in my old age. Oh, I'm right there with you, Brian. I'm right there with you. Number 3, fuckers who stop. Fuckers who put their cell phones on speaker in public and at work. Oh my God, hello. He didn't say the oh my God, hello. That was Jamie. But I want to go over and knock the phone out of their hands and stomp the fucking thing.
He is
to
so
the
right.
men. A to the men.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to hear your fucking conversation.
In the grocery store.
Nobody.
I don't care. I don't want to hear any of it. Keep it to
Nope.
yourself. The next thing he talks about is aliens. He says, I'm fascinated with this topic and have purchased a lot of books over the years about this. I've never had an encounter, but my boys did a few years ago when they were at their friend's cottage. They saw a blue orb over the trees at night and watched it for a long time. Wow, that's cool.
Them blue orbs be orbing all over the place.
That's neat, though. I wish I would have seen something like that. I mean, we did kind of see a blue. I mean, it was a blue rounded light. So, but it was just I didn't see the whole.
I
orb.
saw the orb, and you just are getting senile. So go ahead.
Okay. Anne has told me about the airplane hovering story a few times. That would be cool to see. Yes, it would.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just want to send you guys some feedback, and I just wanted to send you guys some feedback and also show that I remembered your podcast email address. Yay! Which is, by the way, osopodcastcontact@gmail.com. Back to Brian.
All one word.
I hope that you keep having fun with the podcast and all the best. See ya, Brian. Well, thank you so much, Brian. That's awesome.
So this is my brother-in-law. This is Marty's sister's husband, and
that's so
they
nice.
are so fucking awesome.
I must have met him because I've met her at weren't I at their house for your bachelor? I mean, your wedding party. So I'm sure I've met him. I don't remember for sure though. But again, I'm senile, so there you go.
They're just the coolest people. And when our house flooded, what was that, 5 or 6 years ago or whatever, he like jumped on a plane immediately.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Was here to help us like pull our shit out of the house, to remodel that. I mean, he would have stayed for as long as we needed him, but I mean, they're just both incredible people. Marty's whole family is incredible people, but I just thought the fact that, he would do that for us, we will forever be grateful.
Amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you very much,
and
Brian,
so
for
cool
your email.
Of them for writing in. Yes,
I know, that's so awesome. So if anybody else has any questions or comments, let us know and we'll be happy to read them on air. On air. Like I'm on the radio. We'll be happy to read them on the show. Any last thoughts, Joey Johnson?
Just that it was fun doing a secondary musical theater episode.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about.
It was kind of like, once we got rid of the dead weight of Sean Allen Krill, we could really like have a conversation.
Joey Johnson, come on.
I'm just kidding,
you've gone too far now.
I love you. I love you, Sean. Love you.
Well, if you have nothing else to add to the discussion, I will say a big hearty, I love you.
And I love you so much right back.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm an original musical like Kwamina
and Starlight Express.
My show could be a success
and not a big mess like Chess.
And I'll make Broadway my eternal address.
Oh, easy, motherfucker, Broadway. Let's start with off or off, and then you can think about the Great White Way.
But why can't I dream big?
Well, if it was a jukebox musical, a revival, or a recognizable commodity, I'd say dream away, biatch. But original on Broadway? Baby, that is risky.